Might be
believe
five.
so. But
It's hard,
it's also it's now decoupled, right? Like it's at least in the past when I looked at it, it was like, oh, you know, this means that first pick is stronger or second pick is stronger. But now that the sides are just slightly different, and they fixed Singed Bug where he does more damage. It doesn't really matter anymore. You know?
That's true. That's true. I want to see if there's a trend. You know, we've had lots of red side wins. Maybe there's something about red side being slightly stronger in some way because access to Dragon or something. Who knows? As Lost Ratones and KC are going to start getting their bans out. Sion and Malphite taken away by KC. Rumble and Jace removed by Lost Ratones.
Nothing too surprising. I still think going from KC's side to target both the Jarvan and the Malphite are good. Jarvan has been the one thing that Belly's played this weekend, but also Malphite, just these big AoE CCs can be very, very strong in team fights, and I think that's kind of where a lot of focus is going to continue as we look through the rest of the split.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Get people off comfort. We've also only seen Nemesis play the Rise so far, and Crownie has only brought out the Corki. So it will be an Azir first pick for KC. Kyeahoo's going to take that into the mid lane. And how will Lost Ratones answer? Is it going to be looking towards AD carries, get Crownie something he's comfortable on? I mean, picking a jungle AD here tends to be what we see.
Yeah, it's either, you know, buy Talia or going for the Rise and something else if you want to. Those have kind of been the mainstay picks, but looks like it's just going to be the Orianna, so maybe going towards a little bit of the L-Wombo combo, and with Yunara open, team fighting here, Lost Ratones, looking strong.
Yeah, lock it in. Yunara so good right now. We've seen Lost Ratones giving that one up previously here in the LEC. What are KC going to go for their next picks? Likely looking towards jungle AD. It would make a lot of sense. You can also go towards supports if you really want. You could lock in something like the Nico that we saw Trimpy have really good effect on. Busio's Bard is something we always talk about in terms of power picks. But Caliste on Aphelios, who did receive a small hotfix about a week ago now, taking down some of the lethality you get from his leveling passive.
He's still very strong.
He is still very good.
But as we saw earlier, you know, Aphelios Bard, maybe not the play. So I think it'd be opting into something a little bit more safe. I was going to say either the Thresh we've seen a little bit or Lulu is a good response. Lulu also kind of takes it away from the Yunara alongside it, but you still have to be a little careful. Like, you can still get some engage tools that can make that life a little bit difficult. Or we just see Rekkles actually go for the Bard if he's comfortable on himself. Or I know he plays a lot of Janna.
Does like his Janna, likes his Nami as well, which can team up okay with the Yunara. But it actually looks like he might be going towards Bard. Picking it into Busio is brave. Rekkles cracking out the Bard here. Temper Fate does a lot of work against low mobility carries, and Aphelios is definitely one of those.
It's as you say, the ability to just lock people up and take a lot of the pressure off of Velja as well to be that engage tool, because the Bard can facilitate that. I think is going to be great. The only issue, I think KC going to continue to target jungle through these next couple of rotations, I'd imagine, and because they're going to be on the first pick, so they could go towards something like Xin Zhao, which pairs well with the Lulu, and just try and pinch that jungle pool a little bit more.
It's something we've seen Yike bring out twice so far this split as well. In both the games he's gone for that Xin Zhao. Rekkles on Bard 7-3 across the course of his career, so very comfortable on the pick. I will say some of Lost Ratones' numbers, they played in the ERLs and they won a lot in the ERL, so obviously their numbers are going to be, I won't say inflated, but they're going to be kind to them, right? 7-3 on that. And there's the Jax taken away from Baus. We already have that Sion ban away from him as well. And Bessa and Cassante taken out of both the jungle and the top lane respectively. And now we will see where KC want to go with their final ban. And Lost Ratones likely to pick up their jungler, giving Baus a possible last pick.
Yeah, I think it will be another jungle ban, just to go for the Nocturne. So I think, again, setting up for the Xin Zhao, Jack's a good jungle answer to Xin Zhao. Kind of been the old school counter. Unless Velja feels like he wants to take it away here.
He could take away the Xin Zhao. I think the Jax could also be towards Baus. You know, he does love his AP Jax. Dusk and Dawn actually really strong.
I think just it doubles up.
Yes, it definitely does. It definitely does. Nocturne, I've seen a few top Nocturnes recently, top turns. I don't think I've seen too much of Baus playing it, though. And there is the Xin Zhao. So Lost Ratones reading this, saying, okay, we kind of see where you're going. We know that you like this champ. You picked it in all of your games so far. And they will switch over to the Vi in the end.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how they wanted to approach it, because Orianna can work well with the Xin Zhao early to provide the utility that he needs to be a very big menace. But instead, just want to go towards that Vi, that point and click CC, follow up well with the Bard, and try and find that success. But honestly, like I like what KC have. Wukong, very strong in the early stages, can be very disruptive for a lot of the follow-up the Lost Ratones will want to try and go for. And now it's on Canna. What does he want to try and blind to that top side?
I mean, you got to just go for something safe, right? There's no point going anything too spicy. Gnar makes a lot of sense, gives you good team fighting threat. You've got the Lulu to back you up if you do go a little bit too deep. And then you have a huge amount of CC when it comes to those fights to top over the Cyclone and the Gravitum from the Moonlight Vigil. Lost Ratones now looking up towards that maybe jungle role, because I remember Baus loving that Vi top. And it could actually just be Vi top with a jungle Mundo here for Lost Ratones. It's going to be locked in. There's a tiny bit of flexibility, but knowing Baus, that is a Vi in the top lane.
All right, we're getting the Vi top lane. I assumed it was going to be just Vi and Orianna in the mid lane to try and play well together, but looking to just opt in towards the scaling instead once they saw the Wukong. So it does mean, though, that like if Rekkles isn't landing that ultimate, you are heavily reliant on the boss being there to be that engaged to them. Yeah. So I'm a little unsure how Lost Ratones are going to try and set up for their lanes in the mid game, or if they're just going to continue to play for picks. We'll have to wait and see. If Rekkles is on point, this could work out very, very well. Otherwise, for KC, I mean, could that be any more bog standard of Wukong engage, Lulu press W on other people, and they do quickie autos?
Yes, they do quickie autos. That's exactly what they want to do here. You can get that Ardent Sensor, go Imperial Mandate. You could even go for a kind of pseudo-healer Lulu if you really wanted with Diadem and Echoes. We'll see where... I mean, I just want to get it in every moment.
Princess,
every moment. You just want to be that passenger princess. Baus on Vi across the course of his professional career, 6-1. The last time he lost, EU Masters semi-finals last year against KCB. It's the only time he has lost on his Vi.
And just coming off the back of a loss against KCB, now going up against Big Brother. Going to see if he can try and get a bit of revenge against the older one.
Let's take it to the stage. Lost Ratones looking at their first win on the LEC Versus stage. KC looking to round out the week by beating both of the ERL promotion teams, Lost Ratones and KCB. The two opponents they would have taken down. Lost to MCoy yesterday as Busio and Caliste claim control of this bot lane in middle bush. Rekkles can step forward, puts the ward down, should be cleared out by KC. And Busio gets a little bit of damage down as well. Baus versus Canna rematch. We could see it at... did we see it at Red Bull League of its own? I'm trying to... No, it was Tau.
Yeah, it was Tau,
It was Tau, wasn't it? Lost Ratones lost to KCB. KCB lost to KC. So in the spirit of confusion, KC should lose to Ella. Yeah, we are trying to get that circular suck going.
Yeah, big fan of that.
I'm a big fan of it as well. And today has helped. Today has really helped in the circular suck. We might have a weak one-er. We need Lost Ratones to pick up this win, though, if we're going to get there. Cosmic Binding just wide. Clipping onto Busio there. The fight for level 2 going in favor of Crownie and Rekkles to kick us off.
Yeah, I mean, at the early stages, it's going to be very much lanes kind of left to their lonesomes. Wukong wants to try and wait until he hits level 6. Mundo not exactly the most fearsome when it comes towards engages. So this is where, again, like you can see Baus getting these good trades. Bot lane, at least for the moment, having some decent trades for Lost Ratones. Like, these are the kind of things that you want to be able to have in the early stages so you can punish the Wukong.
Heal coming out from Rekkles as they try and trade onto Busio and Caliste, but Caliste with that long-range sniper chips away at Rekkles. Put down those two caretaker shrines and heals himself back up. Bard relatively mana hungry in the early game, especially if you're putting down those caretaker shrines. So you do want to get out and get some of your chimes where you can.
You're going to have to correct me on his name. The Bard main from Europe,
Latharus
put out a really good video that I was watching earlier today on like the different builds you can go for Bard. And he was saying actually what he likes to do in Enchanter matchups is try and look for that early reset, pick up the tier and go for that Diadem build that you were talking about. But the beauty of it is that having that early tier solves a lot of those mana problems.
Yeah.
And all you can do is just spam every time you have a second W, a second shrine up and available, just toss it onto your AD carry.
Yeah.
And it means that you're getting your tier stacks and also just solving a lot of your issues with like healing and mana as well.
Yeah, a little bit of move speed, a little bit of healing as Rekkles looks for Busio. Cosmic Binding coming out. Velja chucks a briefcase at him, but Busio holding on, able to walk his way out. Could use the heal earlier on in the lane, but for now, able to get himself to safety. Now we'll reset and come back onto the map relatively sharpish with those home guards. In the mid lane, Nemesis and Kyeahoo trading as you would expect in the early game. Nemesis always been one of the shining lights in terms of individual skill on this Lost Ratones team. Rare that you see him really get demolished in a lane, and I think if Lost Ratones are going to have a performance that gets them into playoffs in LEC Versus, they are going to rely a lot on Nemesis.
And I think it'll be the same in this game. A relatively short-range KC, apart from, say, Kyeahoo. So if you are looking at an Orianna Shockwave, you have a lot of people that you can suddenly start to hit in those situations. So any sort of overextensions or over-chases could be punished by Nemesis. We'll have to wait and see if that is going to be the case, because this is... I mean, this is going to be a toughie. Like, there's no line. You're up against Karmine Corp. They've been such a staple after their first year in the LEC at the top of the table. And it's, for Lost Ratones, this would be a statement if they're able to take them down.
Oh, it really would. And finishing week 1 with a win on the board would be absolutely massive for Lost Ratones. Lost to Fnatic day 1, lost to KCB yesterday, as we already said. For KC, you really want to be closing games like this out swiftly and with like solid team play, solid macro, not giving the enemy too many opportunities to get into the game.
Yeah, and I actually was talking to Mitsuko backstage, and she was saying, like, this whole weekend, the boss has been such a beaming light of positivity the entire way through. And I love that we're actually starting to see him again kind of fall back to his picks. He is still playing his style. He is still coming in as the lovable goofball that is needed for the team and both for the fans as well. So seeing him perform yesterday in the volley bear, unfortunately, Tim ended up kind of showing him what's worth every so often, but he got some bites back, and now on his signature pick with this Vi top lane as well. It's great to see that Boss is continuing to be him and show that his style can work at this top level.
It's been a long time since we've seen a Vi top in Tier 1 League of Legends. 2013 was the last time we saw it. I'm trying to find the exact
That has to
game.
be when she was released, right?
Yeah, it must be, right? It must be.
I've also just realized I've been playing since 2013 now, and
I think Caitlyn was the first champ released when I started playing, but I cannot remember
Zed
for
was
sure.
on the loading screen when I started.
Okay, sure. I remember we had those loading screens.
Yeah, with the new champion.
And the music.
And they have the banger music.
Lost Ratones have initiated a pause. As you can see, it seems to be something to do with Velja's PC or some of his setup. We don't know exactly what's going on. Well, we don't. The casters don't. The league officials do. They're investigating. There's a potential hardware issue. So
for clarity, I cannot see what's happening down there from up here, so an investigation would not be very good for me.
No, that's true. Yeah, us investigating it would be diabolical, man. That would not go well at all. Yeah. I don't know enough about
Did you turn it off and on again?
Yes. I mean, that would probably be the first question I'd ask. But these PCs reset when you turn them off and on, so then we'd have to go through the whole change your settings, make sure mouse acceleration isn't on. If you haven't, by the way, since Christmas, right-click on your desktop, go to display settings, and make sure that your monitor is actually in the right hertz.
Oh.
Don't just leave it in 60 hertz when you have a 144 hertz monitor. Because a lot of people do that for way too long. Yeah, I had a friend
that
who...
would be me.
Yes. I had a friend who left their monitor plugged into the HDMI, the integrated HDMI, not their graphics card. That was... Oh, you can't hear anything?
No, I had producers in my ear, and I was kind of nodding, and I was like...
Oh, okay, when you gave me a thumbs up, so I assumed you wanted to
producers.
talk. Okay.
But no, I'm just terrible when it comes to anything with computers, because shout out to my mate Joey at home. He would just sort out everything for me, and then I was passenger princessing my way through the PC setup, and I'd have all this, like, he would just tell me what to do, tell me what to change, and then every so often you'd show up at my house and be like, oh, you clearly have this thing set up. And I was like, I've never even heard of that thing. And then he would fix everything that I haven't done in the last, like, half a year. And then I'd just continue on happy and kind of laddie-da my way through life.
That sounds about right. Otherwise, you have to go on YouTube and find some sort of weird...
it's
2-minute long video that explains exactly how to do the thing.
Yeah, it's like some song from 2003 that just kind of goes, wow.
Yeah. And enough about weird computer and wowing. We get back onto Summoner's Rift for the game. Seems like the hardware issue was rectified. Small lead for Nemesis in the mid lane. There's a wave pushing into him as well, so he should have a slight CS lead when this wave crashes. I do want to note, look at how much vision there is for KC in that bot side jungle. There's an absolute slew of wards down there. Just making sure they can really spot if Velja is looking for a gank down towards the bottom side.
I don't think this is really, though, going to be like a ganking game, as I was saying, for Velja. I think he's just going to be happy to just farm it out. And you already have strong lanes. Like, just let them kind of do their thing. And then once Wukong ticks over to 6, once you're there for the counter gank, that's more going to be the thing. Because, like, bot lane, you're not going to have, like, Wukong get sped up and try and hit you one time with the Q. And, like, and same in mid lane. You're waiting on Kyeahoo to hit the level 6 before he really has that kind of kill pressure or setup even for Nemesis. So just take your time, farm your way through, and take it nice and easy and breezy for the start.
Yeah, scale up as much as you can. Baus clearing out waves effectively in the top lane, kind of trying to trade back onto him. And Baus does have to sacrifice some of his HP bar to really get those trades in because he's melee, and the Gnar obviously has that extra range advantage with the hyper for that 3-hit passive. Caliste does have Gravitum, so if a gank was to materialize, he can apply a little bit of CC himself, but it looks like it's not really going to happen. First Drake, though, up in 7 seconds, and Yike was pathing over towards it, so it might be an early Dragon start here for KC. Looks like instead, he's going to decide to go over to his Gromp.
Yeah, just spot a Mundo on that ward that just timed out on that bottom side, so doesn't want to start it up when you're going to have that bounce in the bot lane, and he could be in a little bit of trouble, but speaking of Nemesis, taking a little bit of damage here from Kyeahoo in the mid lane.
Oh, Shockwave used just to clear the wave. If it had clipped Kyeahoo, you're happy, but really you just want to make sure that wave is gone so you can get back to base and back out on the map as quickly as possible. So you see some damage going down onto Rekkles, puts those Caretaker's shrines down again. Baus has snuck his way in here, looks for Canna. Oh, Vault Breaker just shy of connecting onto that mini Gnar.
Yeah, but Baus though, like he's saying, like he has to keep going for these aggressive trades. Still has a passive.
Nice trade in there with the denting blows as well. Got the first prop, doesn't quite get the second, shredding through that armor a little bit. And now paths down towards the mid lane. Kyeahoo actually DCing. Well, we'll see exactly what's going on with that as well. The last Vi top lane, Young Glory Otto. Sure, so basically,
it's even.
We could have just not had this first 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah, just plonk them in.
Injected into this point, which is what we've done now.
Yeah.
And we're back into the game. There we go. Yahoo recalling, it does have TP. Likely just go back and get that blasting wand, and then actually looks like he's just going to walk back into the lane. He's being covered by Yike. As Caliste should be able to get himself a little bit of damage on this tower. Not quite able to pick up the plate, but with red-white, he knows that Crownie can't really step up to him easily. Unless he has a Rekkles in tow, we'll get the slow. There's the heal from Rekkles for the extra movement speed. Caliste just walks away with his Ghost. It's a summoner exchange between support and AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world on either side. So again, I think it's more of a case of, okay, what's going to happen with these upcoming objectives? Dragon is up and available. Cloud Dragons, though, kind of tend to be ignored for a while, you know? And especially if you're KC, it's like, well, they've got Azir and Aphelios.
Oh, Crownie going in, transcending himself as he looks for the damage. There's the heal from Busio. Cosmic Binding just wide. Meanwhile, Velja actually invading Yike here. Stands next to the wall to make sure he gets that flash away. Velja with a slight gold lead here in the jungle is about 3 camps ahead. Baus was moving across as well. In the end, we'll just end up returning to the top lane.
Nicely done by Lost Ratones. Advantage in the bot lane now for them. And also Velja starting to get active in towards the jungle. And Wukong without flash, significantly less threatening, especially if you try and keep him at bay. So I think for Lost Ratones, at least some life. That's what we want to see from them.
Really nice start overall for Lost Ratones. Velja with that camp lead. Caliste and Busio just going to shove out this wave as we see Crownie backing away to get himself his half-bound axe. Velja has an entire bot side left to clear, has already got the Gromp and is now working on the wolves. So he should be about 2-3 camps, maybe even 4 camps ahead at the end of this clear. There is a Drake as well. Caliste and Busio getting the push out of bot. It looks like they are just going to return to base themselves. No one's going to contest those neutrals this early. Grub's up in 10, but again, everyone just seems to be unwilling to take the fight around a neutral objective right now.
Yeah, I think it should be more on Yike in this position now to start looking for a cross map. Like, I'm going to get Void Grubs as we traded for Dragons. Dragons definitely stronger in the current meta, but when you've got something like Canna on his Gnar, can look to take some advantages when it comes towards pushing, but realistically, so much of that push power now comes from crystals that the Void Grubs just don't hold that same kind of weight as they used to.
Yeah, it doesn't give you as much of that side lane threat as it could do, but Velja off to a really nice start here. 23 CS up. Gonna clear out this ward, look to fight over this Scuttle Crab as well. Has Rekkles in tow for a little bit of protection. Crownie looking to see if he can work his way in from the bottom side of this fight, but it's going to be a bit tricky for him. Kyeahoo coming across, has that Emperor's Divide, Cosmic Binding, divides Rekkles back, who has the flash, Polymorph coming out, Moonlight Vigil as well. Rekkles almost falls to the Calibrum and will go down, can't get the Temple Fade out. Crownie opening up, Caliste able to flash to the back, and Velja falls as well. Lost Ratones have already lost 2. Crownie's going to have to burn his sums to get out of the pit, but Busio is waiting for him. Great flash away, flash in! It tastes purple as the blue wall is built by Lulu and Busio.
I didn't know purple tasted like dirt. KC finding that fight against Lost Ratones. I don't know, like, Lost Ratones had started off so well, but keep your eyes on the minimap in this one. Crownie completely separated. Nemesis was late on the push, and Kyeahoo just immediately turns onto Rekkles, but Crownie can't really get into a solid position here, especially as you get the reposition from Caliste towards his team. The Lulu wall growth is there. It's a disaster for Lost Ratones.
It really is. Chase out from Busio in the end as well. Crownie dashes out, flashes out, still can't escape. Now no summoners on that Yunara. Velja, a few moments ago we were talking about how it was KC that had to settle for the grubs. Now it's Lost Ratones who find that small consolation prize, and the gold swings in the favor of KC. Caliste has a BF sword to back up his Dirk. The vision here on Baus as he moves down towards that mid lane. We saw it yesterday on the volley. He can find those ganks towards mid, but if he's spotted, it's so much easier for Kyeahoo to dodge away.
And this is where you kind of have to go, okay, is the boss just going to act as a secondary jungler and start shifting between lanes, or either staying in that top side and having Velja play towards him? Because Nemesis now flashless, Crownie flashless, Rekkles flashless. These are a ton of windows that Yike can look to play towards, as his own flash is starting to come back up, and that ultimate.
Nemesis burning his flash when Kyeahoo's ultimate still was on cooldown. Yeah. Still a few seconds before it comes back up. There's the risk of a wild growth for the knock-up into a polymorph or something, so I don't blame Nemesis for that, but maybe a few missteps, as it's about 1,000 gold lead for KC, and we unfortunately do have another pause as we'll see exactly what is happening. See league officials discussing things on the stage. Looks like it's coming from the side of KC, but I do not want to pontificate until we have the information provided to us, and I say that after pontificating about it slightly. So, a very quick swing, and this is something that has been commonplace in Lost Ratones games. We saw day 1, Velja going in across the Unraveled Earth, costing the game. Day 2, playing up against KCB, we had great plays from Yukino, costing them the game. These small mistakes snowball so much more than they would on an ERL stage.
But I think it's also, you wouldn't get punished for those small mistakes at an ERL level, right? Like, how many times are you going to have the Azir shuffle the support in to actually set up the play and set up the fight for you, right? And even then it was the level 6 being hit by Busio as well, that then, like, the small timing window that Busio had that then enables the wall growth. And I think it's a lot of these small differences that teams at this level, and particularly a team like KC, are able to punish. And when you're so separated as Lost Ratones, if this was ERLs, I think you're able to find space into that fight, and you're able to find actually an advantageous position. But unfortunately, that's just not going to cut it here. Yeah,
I totally agree. Player has reported a potential bug to our league officials, who are now reviewing exactly what's going on. It's an ardent conversation with Busio, who seems accepting of whatever the official is saying to him, as you would expect him to be, really. Because
what
the
do
official
you do?
says something, it's like, all right, that's the thing, I guess. But as soon as we have more information, we will obviously provide that.
It's still sick that we have Busio.
Oh,
like, I'm still very, very excited. And I mean, we heard from Jack earlier how excited he is for Caliste and Busio, but I have to echo it. Like, this guy was the best support in the West. Yeah. Like, it was absolutely insane. And now that he's actually come across, I'm going to give it time. Like, obviously it hasn't been Caliste and Busio absolutely slamming every lane that they've ever touched. It's the guys are still going to get used to each other and trying to figure out how they want to try and play certain matchups, how they even view the game. But I do expect as this year goes on, these are just going to become a juggernaut bot lane that just really does propel KC to new heights.
And we're back onto the Rift. As it seems everything was rectified. Rekkles stepping forward here, doesn't have the flash, does have heal, and obviously the magical journey, but with the Cyclone to knock him up into the wild growth, he still gets through Polymorph. Tempered Fate not in time. Wukong goes golden as he claims his prize. Yike on the board for the second time this game.
That Polymorph from Busio was pretty clutch, because it meant that you couldn't stun the Wukong on the opposite side. gives time there for the kill to come through, and another nice pick from KC.
Baus going for a bit of a proxy here, utilizing the top lane positioning that comes with the quest, where proxying actually benefits you a lot more than it does the player chasing you. However, Canna has support and Kyeahoo's here. And Emperor's Divide into a nice little combo. Canna gets the roll quest complete at the same time as Caliste. KC 5-0 up and a 2.2k gold lead.
The alley-oop slam dunk there looking well clean for KC. And unfortunately, kind of just more small errors from Lost Ratones getting punished. Kind of going to be able to push in on this top side and look for another plate alongside it. And the duo from KC fighting back against Lost Ratones here.
Yeah, just playing a little bit around that vision. I think they know as soon as you see Velja, it's okay, you know, we're cool. We'll just step forward, step back. You don't have immediate hard CC. You've used the Tempered Fate. We saw that happen. So unless Rekkles is flashing Cosmic Binding, we're not really under too much threat of getting caught out. Canna picking up more plates on this top side, forcing Baus out. It's a very small CS lead, about a wave and a half right now. But across the board, the lead's developing for KC.
Yeah, also just having ticked over with the top lane quest means he's just gotten 600 XP as well, which is a sizable portion of that XP lead that's open. But Canna, that gold lead is only going to continue here. As I say, like, he already has the advantage. The plates are going to be there. Yike also playing up on this top side, so Baus is going to have to be very careful how much he overextends here. And do they want to try and go for something? Because he's actually wrapping towards mid.
Might be looking at Kyeahoo, who doesn't have that Emperor's Divide, can find the flank. Yike trying to get in here as well. And Nimble strike across the wall, and there's the fight with a shockwave, cease and desist. And he talked about a slam dunk. Well, that's a three-pointer or something. I don't watch basketball, but great stuff from Lost Return.
A good timing window from Baus. The wave had just pushed out, and he was also the focus from KC. They wanted to try and make a play onto the Baus, but instead moves mid, catches a kill, and sets it up for Nemesis as well, which is the late game scaler that you need that money on.
Yeah, needs to get towards that first item, does Nemesis. Has himself a tier and a lost chapter right now. Busio here, trying to hold the wave, but can't really do that when it gets in. He'll be able to stack up that World Atlas. Has completed it. Got himself a dream catcher for the extra shields bouncing around his teammate. Sjokz first as well on the Lulu. Not something you too commonly see, but when you are looking for this engage and the enemy team is more likely to play on a back foot, having that Sjokz for the extra movement speed really helps.
Yeah, and it's probably, he's going to be followed with the Ardent Sensor and that, so you still get a lot of value in the attack speed and the shields and everything else, but certainly I think enabling this Wukong as much as possible and that Gnar to find the engages, and even the disengage from people like Mundo, pretty crucial.
Ooh, Rekkles caught out. Magical journey across the wall. No Cyclone Polymorph combo to stop him this time. The towers are being chipped away at. Top lane actually might even be going down here for Canna with a cannon minion there. He can take out the wave, let the cannon die, then take the tower, deny that little bit more gold. Baus was in range for the XP, but it's a 1.5k lead now for Canna with that first turret gold. Really fattening up his pockets.
Just keeping eyes on where everyone is for this dragon. Basic KC trying to force their way through on the bottom side, but it does mean that Crownie has to move around.
No Wallops come up for the follow-up CC. Baus is going to go in. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Velja's chasing forward. Baus trying to get away from this. Canna needs another couple of autos. He doesn't get the second, so he flashes. Baus flashes away. Oh, the boomerang tickled the heels of Baus, but he still escapes. Great flash reactions from him. Meanwhile, there's a fight down towards this Drake. It's a Chem Drake. Kyeahoo does have the Emperor's Divide and is TPing down towards the bottom side.
Yeah, Kyeahoo's forced out, which is why Lost Ratones then feel comfortable go for this, but the TP in, he's in behind them.
Caliste could look for the Moonlight Vigil. Flash shockwave! Beautiful from Lost Ratones. The Cyclone coming out as Kyeahoo tries to join the fray. Crownie's going to have the flash, but Deathwing's Flash finds his mark. Yike looking for Nemesis. Velja gets another, and Kyeahoo's not able to get the damage down in the end. The Mundo is sent on PTO, will fall. But Lost Ratones has shown they are here to fight.
It's a 2 for 3 in favor of Lost Ratones, and they can come back out and look for this once more. That was a hard-fought fight. We missed the start of it because we were looking at that top side, but Kyeahoo got forced out of the equation. You can see him now TPing back in, and Lost Ratones, this combo was beautiful. Flash forward from Velja onto Busio, immediately killing him and removing a lot of the support that Caliste needs now. Yike does a good job of finishing off Crownie as he tries to follow through, but with Kyeahoo able to deal enough damage, it will be end up as a trade 2-4-3 in favor of Lost Ratones.
Big shot down going over to Velja as well. Got the 500 gold from Caliste. Busio forced to flash the wall here. Does still have that wild growth, but his jungler's on the top side, and I think KC have given up the ghost of this dragon. will be one apiece.
Yeah, Nemesis and Rekkles' ults are up way sooner because I believe they were used. Well, obviously Nemesis was used first, but I believe Rekkles was used earlier to try and catch Kyeahoo as well. So in this position, just ult economy advantage for Lost Ratones. And will be the Chemtech Dragon, second of the game secured for Lost Ratones.
And this is something Lost Ratones did so well in the ERLs. When they fell behind, they found moments like this to get back into the game. They weren't an incredible early game team. They did sometimes get early game leads, but when they were falling behind in games, they always found these avenues to approach the match to get themselves back into it. It is still, ooh, I don't think that was deliberate. Maybe it was, maybe Yike's just going to ride it to the mid lane. Okay, yeah. Often when you see it immediately placed, it's not deliberate, but it looks like Yike's just going to ride it straight through. Quick enough to dodge the Tempered Fate.
I think that's why. I think they saw Rekkles on the bottom side and knew that that was kind of their one window to use it before Rekkles was able to defend a lot of the turrets, so they end up getting this. Now redirecting the top side, I don't think he'll be able to get any more here.
He rides into a wall so he can get the Scuttlecraft.
Yeah, makes sense. But this is where you're seeing now. So Canna, quite a big advantage on that top half of the map, and Caliste with a pretty sizable advantage as well. So if you're KC, these are the two people that you're going to be trying to play around, either enabling Canna in that side lane to take down some of these structures, or trying to keep Caliste alive. But you can see in that last fight, Lost Ratones did a great job of taking out that support carry in Busio and making sure that Caliste was completely isolated. So we'll have to see if Lost Ratones can try and set up a similar fight once more like that.
I mean, when you have the flash and the shockwave up, Velja's flash and Nemesis' shockwave, it is very difficult to react to it because the shockwave, the animation starts before the flashes even come through. So it's like, well, do I flash? Do I expect it to happen? Am I just going to burn this 5-minute cooldown when it's a 120 on the shockwave? It will be back up before you know it. Canna now put down in towards this bottom lane to try and take another tower. Those plates do still remain on it. The gold you get from them falls off after the 11-minute mark, down about 40 gold per plate at the max amount of time after the 11-minute mark, but still, you are getting that little bit of extra gold. Lost Ratones setting up towards this top side. Rift held 90 seconds away, so they're really just vying for vision control more than anything and to try and take this mid-tier one.
And there it goes. Crownie able to pick that one up, and now they've already set up that highway towards that top side of the map. Yike there in position to try and cover Kyeahoo. Hoping Busio can come here as well, because there's a lot of LR members.
Yike with the shotgun, Nemesis flashing away. As the Cyclone comes out, shockwave dodged by Kyeahoo. Another Cyclone out, but Velja is able to tank it. The Wild Growth coming in, Tempered Fate. Almost fit the Lulu before she could get her Odoamne off, and now Yike's in the middle of Lost Ratones. Another Polymorph coming out, but Velja claims the kill. It's a 5v3 on this top side now in favor of Lost Ratones, and they'll just set up for a kill and back away.
The confidence starting to come through here for Lost Ratones. The mid tower, the immediate run top, the picks are happening. And KC were scrambling to try and cover, but they're too late, and now Canna
needs to get out of here, doesn't have the flash, the Gnar into the wall, dodged by Nemesis, a wallop follow-up, but Crownie won't fall, and Canna will. Canna trying to delay the backs of Lost Ratones so Kyeahoo could take this bot lane tier 1, sacrifice his own life to do it.
Still though, actually I wasn't sure if they're going to stick around for Lost Ratones on the top side and just look for the turret themselves, because it's a turret advantage up for KC, but that's a lot of gold that's just been put back into the hands of Lost Ratones. You can see at the top of your screen, it's not that much, and it may be about to disappear.
Is Kyeahoo gonna get out of this one? Flashes and slides away, but does have to burn that summoner. 20 minutes in, game basically even now, about 300, 400 gold between the two teams. Next Drake up in 90 seconds time. Would only be the second of the game for either of these two teams.
But still, it's, you know, no flash on Kyeahoo now, and the opportunity to try and look for him as that target with that Seeker's Arm Guard broken as well off that top play. So definitely burning some of these crucial summoner spells and crucial items on KC. And for Lost Ratones, you're starting to tick over, like Fiend Hunter Bolt's very strong on the Yunara. 2 items now complete onto Nemesis as well. There's still a lot here that Lost Ratones can do against KC.
And their movement around the map as well with that magical journey. Rekkles and Velja just teaming up to make sure they can deny vision from KC, deny any easy movement from KC. KC relegated to their tier 2s.
And also because that long lane exists on the top side, there's not really a cross-map opportunity for KC either, so Lost Ratones happy to just set up shop here in the bottom side and make it uncomfortable as Nemesis waits.
Nemesis has no flash. The Cyclone gets the first knockup, but for the second Tempered Fate, just short of hitting Busio and Kyeahoo, but now Yike is behind enemy lines, and Lost Ratones can try and chase him down. Yike has a lot of tools in his toolkit to get out of this one. Crownie puts the fast out alteration down, flashes forward, and Yike will fall. Crownie claims it. With 12 seconds on the Drake, you have to feel that's second of the game for Lost Ratones.
The ultimate from Rekkles was clutch, denying access from Kyeahoo and Caliste, I believe it was, to actually get into support Yike, which meant that the monkey had overextended. And Lost Ratones, it's a gold lead for them.
7-7, they take a 700 gold lead. Velja only going to keep scaling up through this game. Now, KC do have the tools in their arsenal to deal with a Mundo. Like, sometimes you see, if that's a Jhin instead of an Aphelios, you're worried.
Jhin to Leah.
Exactly. Never going to get through a Mundo, but Azir and an Aphelios should be able to work their way through Velja. However, he is getting darn tanky. Deadman's Plate and the Heartsteel finished for him. Baus getting chased out here. Hasn't had as much impact on this game as he would like, but even though Canna got that early lead, Baus has done a really good job of keeping up in CS, trying to find impact on the map where he can.
And as long as Lost Ratones can keep up this, hey, push mid with Yunara and start to attack side lanes, you can see KC are struggling to keep up. KC have actually done a good job of getting wards down.
Yeah.
It's just that they've been outpaced thanks to the magical journey that you're alluding to off Rekkles to get to those side lanes. And it looks like once more that's kind of going to be the plan. You can see Yunara clears mid. Already Rekkles' topside setting up vision for Nemesis, and that is the last outer turret that's still there. And if Lost Ratones win something on the top side, a Baron could easily be the next port of call.
Oh, really quick Baron take as well, with the Yunara Mundo there as well. Looks like it's going to be a locket second item here for Rekkles on the Bard after those Bandle pipes.
I do think, though, on KC's side, just speaking of itemization, the next item for Busio is going to change a lot of things. Ardent Sensor could be incredibly strong alongside Caliste. The fact you give the attack speed buff and then give him a bunch of extra damage on top is going to be so nice for Caliste, especially because he looks like he's going to be going towards the armor pen item next. So at this stage, you're not having a bunch of actual attack speed in the kit, so it'd be heavy reliant on Lulu for that.
A little frustrating for Caliste that he needs to go the Mortal Reminder route rather than the Lord Dominic's Regards. Lord Dominic's Regards had the Giant Slayer added back to it, so you do more damage to people with more health. But
also, I think 5% less armor pen on Mortal Reminder as well.
A smidge less. It's not the end of the world. Mortal Reminder makes a lot of sense because you have a Mundo on the enemy team and you don't want him just healing through the entirety of the fight. So you need that grievous wound application. That's the last Whisper. As KC mostly playing towards the top side here. Baus going in onto Canna. Now has to get out, but Canna's just going to chase him down. No real escape for Baus. A solo on the Bolo as Baus falls to Canna.
And it does mean now Canna's in a position to threaten that tier 2 on the bottom side, which nullifies a lot of the pressure Lost Ratones had just set up. You can see on that top half of the map, like, they set up so much vision here to try and make these plays happen, but now have to reset to protect the tier 2. That was supposed to be a dive, but Canna keeping KC safe on that top half of the map.
It's something Canna does so well. He just draws attention to his side of the map, got himself an early lead, continues to extend it where he can, is level 17, 2 levels higher than anyone else in the game. Rekkles looking for him now, but misses the Cosmic Binding. Nemesis still on the chase. There's a Shockwave for the follow-up. Canna has the flash, will jump and flash into the hit as the magical journey goes for the follow-up. Nemesis flashes forward and finds him with the command attack. Meanwhile, KC tried to push through that mid lane, couldn't get the wave any further up. Kyeahoo's pushing through top. In the end, they'll all just have to back away. Well played by Lost Ratones to find that kill. Did have to burn Nemesis's flash, though, which leaves him very susceptible to CC and positioning in fights.
On the opposite side, though, Canna not having flash also makes that threat of that Gnar ultimate in an upcoming dragon fight way less viable. I mean, it's a minute 30 until that one's up. So I think for Nemesis, going to be happy to get the gold, have the safety in the Seeker's Arm Guard now, versus Canna, who kind of wanted to be that big threat in fights.
And again, it's Nemesis being a key carry for this team, the key carry for this team. 3-0-5, 2,500 gold ahead. Now looking to finish up his next item, has the Shadow Flame and the Seraphs. Wouldn't be surprised, actually, if he's going towards that full Zhonya's. There it is. Locked in for him, a full item ahead of Kyeahoo on this Azir.
Level 16 hit from as well. Nemesis is in a very, very strong spot to be that carry. And again, if Baus actually shows up to the fights, you end up with that point-and-click CC for someone like Caliste. And a lot of damage coming through from Nemesis. Good follow-up from Crownie thanks to that Fiend Hunter bolt and also that ultimate. Like, it's going to be difficult to try and keep some of these backline members alive for KC.
Yeah, it feels like we're just waiting for that Maybe a fight at the next Drake, because it would be soul point for Lost Ratones, but you can kind of give it up if you're KC. It's the 3-item fight. You got Fiend Hunter Bolts, Kraken Slayer, Infinity Edge, Mortal Reminder, Collector on one side. Yahoo's still a little short of getting towards that 3rd item in mid, whereas Nemesis is very strong. And for Lost Ratones, they're just going to set up this vision pocket once again. Control the Phaelite, control that river. 20 seconds on that Ocean. Drake Ardent Sensor now complete for Busio, and good guns for Caliste if they are going to take a battle.
The only thing that has to be on KC's mind is that if they don't actually take the fight here, which it looks like they're not going to, Velja will tick over to 16 by the time the next fight happens.
Yep.
And
it's a
Mundo
Baron rush. It's a Baron rush. Red, white.
Try to change it, yeah.
Yeah, I love the call from KC. Caliste now has Calibrum and Crescendum, and Lost Ratones are left a little bit unawares. The Tempered Fate comes out. Lost Ratones pulled away from the Drake that they were looking for, but good Tempered Fate will stop any possibility of that Baron take.
It does mean they're pulled entirely away from the Dragon, though, and opportunity for KC to try and re-establish themselves here. Canna reset and bought that Sterix Gauge, thanks to that time bought with that Baron Rush. And now no Tempered Fate. It's only the boss that can beat the Engage tool.
Yike looking for that flank position. Lost Ratones. Nimbus strike forward. There's a Cyclone. The follow-up with the Moonlight Vigil as well into the Polymorph. Nemesis goes on a rampage, but immediately we see Crownie falling. Caliste going low though, as well as Nemesis continues to open up. Canna has the Gnar, but no flash. Remember, as Yike dodges across the wall to chase now onto that Gnar. As Baus, Rekkles, and Nemesis survive the onslaught of KC.
The punchback from Lost Ratones, taking out both Caliste and Kyeahoo, was devastating for KC in that one. They should be able to just fall back over towards the Dragon and pick that up, but it looked so good for KC.
The risk of going for the Dragon is you don't have a smite. Velja is down and Yike has a smite of his own. You could probably out-damage it with Nemesis and with Baus, but do you want to risk going 2-2 on the Drakes when you can just accept that you've won the fight, reset? We'll have another look at it, because it looks like Yike has an incredible flank position.
Yeah, and it gets onto Crownie immediately. The follow-up is there from Caliste, but Velja, the shockwave delivery system once more for
So
Nemesis. Immediately takes out Kyeahoo. Caliste goes next, and now it's KC. Rekkles trying to buy time.
There's the smite. There's the Drake over to KC.
And that was my worry, was if you end up giving that time over, KC can then get back in, regardless of whether you have the smite or not. But now Lost Ratones, Dragon gone. They can still push in mid and set up on that top half of the map and threaten Baron. But it's at least for KC buying a little bit of time to get towards 4 or 5 items on their cards.
And also, you know, they don't have the Shockwave flash combo anymore. Velja's flash down, only it's about 2/3 of its cooldown left. So KC could try and up the tempo, could try and force a play. Still looking for that 3rd item on Kyeahoo, though. 3K in the hole. Canna about 2,000 gold ahead. But, the other substantial lead is Rekkles, who's 1.3K ahead on this part.
The Magi Soul Stealer fully upgraded here for Nemesis. Was sitting on a Dark Steel with 10 stacks for a little bit, but happy to upgrade that one. And I think now, as Velja starts to tick to 16, he's a massive threat in these fights. Nemesis, we've already seen. A 3rd item going to come through for Crownie, which means he's going to be massive as well. And Velja, he's on the hunt.
Rekkles to try and get away. And use the decoy. Yike going back in. Caliste tries to open up onto Crownie. Cease and desist coming out from Baus. They're going to lock up Caliste, but Baus is in the middle of them all with a polymorph, and Caliste survives through it. Lost Ratones couldn't chase any further. And now KC on the front foot. 4v5 in their favor. Crownie very low as Canna looks for a little bit more. Is about to go mega. Doesn't have the vision in that bush. Rekkles and Nemesis able to dodge away. The Baron going to be begun here for KC. Not the best guns for Caliste.
Doesn't matter. Crownie has to reset. The only way that this can work is if Nemesis was to get some massive shockwave, and that ends it right there. But look at the positioning from KC. They're going to threaten mid-wave, deny any access, and Lost Ratones, they want to just move on to the pot wave that was stacking and try and at least get some plates, if not the turret, in trade.
Should be able to take the tower down. As Nemesis, Rekkles, and Velja are across here. The auto attacks with that clockwork run-up coming out from Nemesis will take down this tier 2. Meanwhile, though, Canna has decided just to push through the top side because he knows the rest of his team can try and delay. Kyeahoo in the mid lane as well is going to look for a tier 2 of his own. So you sack your bot tier 2. You force Nemesis and Velja to run all the way away. He managed to get a tier 2 on top side and a lot of damage in mid. Canna escapes with that Baron buff empowered recall. Yike still looking. Nemesis able to walk his way away.
Yeah, Kyeahoo needs to be careful though. Rekkles going to find him here.
Tempered Fate just in time. finds the stun. Crownie's here. Kyeahoo sliding, shifting with those stands away. Dodges to his soldiers and manages to escape the fray. Meanwhile, Yike's looking for an invade as Nemesis does have that shockwave. Looking for a bit of damage with the command attack.
KC are kind of out of sorts though, yeah? Who wants the reset because he's actually sitting on a good amount of gold. Can't because he doesn't have the TP to get it back out. And there's less than 2 minutes now remaining on this Baron, so they have to stay on the map. So KC have to start making plays on these side lanes. It's going to be Canna looking to crack down that mid lane turret.
That's the thing. No one can match Canna in a 1v1 at the moment. So if Lost Ratones decide, okay, this is our battlefield, we will play around bot tier 2, then they have to sacrifice something on the other side of the map. They've now lost 2 tier 2s off this push. And because of that, you can see KC did manage to get about 2.2k in total off this Baron power play with 90 seconds left.
The thing is, though, that was already kind of gone.
Yeah,
right? Top was already gone, which was
Agreed.
taken after the Baron, and mid was basically already taken. So I think for KC, they would have really liked to get all of the outer turrets and extra sieging on towards inhibitors. But at this stage, like, as weird as it sounds, I think Lost Ratones are kind of okay with the fact that this is all you get off the Baron.
Oh, I totally agree. I think they're okay as well with the fact that Crownie is building up towards that 4th item, that Nemesis has that 10-stack Medjais and a blasting one we talked about. Busio and Yike trying to deny as much vision as they can. They know perhaps there's an avenue to attack down here. Yike steps forward, Cosmic Binding from Rekkles will lock him up, and you can see the damage coming out from those briefcases out of Velja. KC will back away.
The actual secret clutch factor for KC is that Yike has continuously been stealing away all these camps on the bottom side and keeping Velja down here, so he hasn't been able to hit over to level 16.
Wow.
He's very close off the wave. Should hit us just in time for this dragon fight in 40 seconds. But KC, as long as they can keep this vision control up in this bottom side, I think they're in a relatively good spot. Canna actually, level 20, fully stacked on the XP advantage, and looking to see what he can find in the jungle.
Yeah, just constantly meandering his way in the jungle. When Crocs do spawn, Yike could look for them. The rest of KC are on their way down. Kyeahoo using the Sun Disc here. Scrya's Bloom coming out. Yike on that flank. Caliste stepping forward. Cyclone onto the backline. Velja now the target, but the Cyclone's not going to get the knockup. Tempered Fate going on to Kyeahoo, who does still have that Emperor Divide. Moonlight Vigil out with the Infernum. Will do a little bit of work. Baus jumping forward. Canna about to go mega here as well. And Lost Ratones need to respect the Gnar. Level 20 bounces his way out. The Drake is up, and Lost Ratones, a lot of them sitting at half HP. Looks like Caliste will turn his attention to the Drake first.
There's no vision, so they actually don't know where Caliste is, or they started that ward just showing it, but Caliste had already finished it off. KC kind of bluffing their way through that off of Canna and actually picking up the dragon without much contest.
And now KC need to go for their resets, clear out that top wave. Couple of pings coming down on it. Lost Ratones are going to try and push through bot, but there's no tier 2 there. So really all they're going to do is push the wave into Kyeahoo.
Well, I was going to say Kyeahoo can't really stick around by himself because you still have that point and click from the boss to maybe take him out, and there's a lot of members running up towards that top side, but it looks like Lost Ratones just going to back away, lick their wounds, and hope that in 2 minutes time at this Baron they can actually find the fight.
Support's getting up to 3 items, which is something we rarely see. Rekkles with the Mikhails did have that substantial gold lead. It's Ardent, Shurelias, and Bandle Pipes for the Lulu. Works off slows. You don't need CC, like stuns and harder crowd control. You can just get the slows on the Lulu.
I actually nearly feel like the Redemption would have been better than the Mikhails in this situation. Just the ability to re-heal after an engage from Yike, like we've kind of seen.
Yeah.
And I think if Canna has already gotten a big Gnar ultimate, the fight's lost. I think the Mikhail's value to me doesn't seem that high at the moment.
100% understand where you're coming from. However, Redemption doesn't build out of a Kindle Gem. So if you are following the flowchart of build a Kindle Gem, build a thing, Redemption doesn't do that
Zeke's
anymore.
Convergence.
Yes, Zeke's Convergence. I mean, he's got another Redemption, another Kindle Gem. So we'll see where Rekkles goes with his final item. Might just be using it for the health and the ability haste. Baron up in a minute's time. KC grouping up its 5 to try and get in towards this blue side jungle. Now stepping forward with the Bolt Breaker. Isn't really going to be able to find too much as Yike and crew will clear out some of that vision. I saw you looking up if Redemption built out of Kindle Gem. It used to.
I was trying to remember what it now built out of.
Yeah, they changed it to AP. It's Fiendish Codex and the Forbidden Idol. But we have a moment, guys. We've got about 30 seconds before this Baron comes up. I don't expect anyone to look to rush it. And then after that, we have about 3 minutes until Ocean Soul for KC if they can find that final dragon. It's been a great fight for both teams. Lost Ratones, I think they'll be much more impressed with this performance than they have been impressed with previously. Here's the tempered bait, the auto for the slow. Rekkles finds the cosmic binding as well, and there's the follow-up. But the wild good sees and assist, dives onto Caliste, who has to clutch away himself. Meanwhile, Yike's on the back line, but the Cyclone has to use his decoy to try and get away. Caliste kills off Baus. Canna in the middle of them, does have that Gnar, does have his flash, can look for Moonlight Vigil, Gravitum onto Nemesis, yeeted back, the stopwatch in time. Velja now trying to protect his mid laner, but an Emperor's Divide and the flash is enough to take down his Nemesis. The resurrection for Crownie will not last for long as KC find the fight.
The mechanics for Lost Ratones are there, the decisions they tried to put down, but KC outplay in the moment, and it is KC who are now barreling towards the nexus of the Rats.
Some sort of miraculous heroic defense from Velja and from Rekkles needs to be enacted, because otherwise KC as 5 are going to take down these Nexus towers. Caliste opens up and immediately they melt in front of him. A hot knife through butter as KC will take the win, will go 2-1 and will mean that Lost Ratones end week 1 without a win.